In this video, you're going to focus on differentiation. So the derivative of a constant is always equal to 0. Derivative of sine x is equal to cosine x. The derivative of cosine x is equal to negative sine x. The derivative of tangent x is equal to secant square x. And the derivative of cotangent x is equal to negative secant is equal to negative cosecant square x. Cosecant square. The derivative of secant x is equal to secant x times tangent x. The derivative of cosecant x is equal to negative cosecant x times tangent x and times cotangent x. There is also more derivative. So of inverse sine x is gonna be equal to 1 over the square root of 1 minus x squared. Of inverse cosine x, so inverse cosine x is gonna be equal to negative 1 minus square root of 1 minus x squared. For inverse tangent x is gonna be equal to 1 over 1 plus x squared. And for inverse cotangent x is gonna be equal to negative 1 over 1 plus x squared. Right. So this is derivative. Another two will be the derivative of secant inverse of secant x is gonna be equal to 1 over x times the square root of x1 minus 1. And the derivative of inverse cosecant x is gonna be equal to negative 1 over x times square root minus 1. So this is derivative of different quantity. Now we are going to talk about some basic rule. The first one is the derivative of a constant is always equal to 0. And the derivative of, let's say, a constant times a function, f of x, is going to be equal to the constant c times f prime of x. And the derivative of f of x times g of x is going to be equal to f prime of x times g of x plus g prime of x times f of x. So this is the product rule. Another one will be the coordinate rule. So the derivative of f of x over g of x is gonna be equal to g of x times f prime of x plus minus f of x times g prime of x over g of x squared. So here it has a prime. So g of x times f prime of x minus f of x times g prime of x over g of x squared. Another one will be the chain rule. So the derivative of f of g of x is gonna be equal to f prime g of x times g prime of x. So let's do some example. So y is equal to square root of x times tangent x. Y prime of x is equal to y prime. I don't like the square root here because it just looks tricky. So you can write it as x was the power of a half times tangent x. Sorry. Now you can take this derivative of y. So this is gonna be equal to the derivative of square root of x times tangent x plus square root of x times the derivative of tangent x. So this is going to be equal to a half times x with the power of negative a half, because 1 over 2 minus 1 is equal to negative 1 over 2 times tangent x plus square root of x times the derivative of tangent x, which is equal to secant square x. So this is equal to 1 over 2 times the square root of x times tangent x plus the square root of x times secant square x. Let's do another example. If y is equal to the square root of x tangent x, what is the derivative of this quantity? So we don't want the square root here. So y is gonna be equal to x tangent x with the power of a half. Now we can take the derivative. So it's gonna be equal to, so apply the chain rule here. So put a half in the front. So half times x tangent x with the square root of 1 over 2 minus 1, which is equal to negative 1 over 2. And you can take this, the derivative of x tangent x. So now we can apply the chain rule, the product rule. So you take the derivative of x first, which is equal to 1, and then you time 1 with tangent x, and then you have a plus sign here. So x times the derivative of tangent x is gonna be equal to secant square x. Okay. Now we can simplify this equation here. So it's gonna be equal to a half times x tangent x with the power of negative a half times tangent x plus x times secant square x. So just don't forget to take the derivative of x tangent x after you take the derivative of the square root of x tangent x. Y is equal to 5 over 1 minus x. What is the derivative of this quantity? So I'm gonna write this equation as 5 times 1 minus 1 with the power of negative 1. So now I can take the derivative of this quantity. So it's gonna be equal to 5 times the derivative of this part here. So you can move the negative 1 to the front. So 1 minus x with the power of negative 1 minus 1. So this is gonna be equal to negative 5 times 1 minus x with the power of negative 2, and which is equal to negative 5 over 1 minus x squared. So is this correct? I just made a serious mistake here. So y prime is gonna be equal to 5 times negative 1 times 1 minus x with a power of negative 2, and then you need to take the derivative of 1 minus x right? So derivative of 1 minus x is gonna be equal to 0 minus 1. So this is gonna be equal to negative 5 times 1 minus x with the power of negative 2 times negative 1. So this is equal to 5 times 1 minus x with the square root of with the power of negative 2, in which is equal to 5 over 1 minus x squared. Let's say y is equal to 1 minus x over 5. What is the derivative of this quantity? So we know this is equal to 1 over 5 times 1 minus x. So the derivative of this quantity is going to be equal to 1 minus 1 over 5 times the derivative of 1 minus x. So this is going to be equal to 1 over 5 times 0 minus 1. So this is equal to negative 1 minus 1 over 5. Y is equal to sine 2x plus cosine 2x, 3x. What is the derivative of this quantity? So we take the derivative of sine 2x first, right? And then you also need to take the derivative of cosine 3x. So basically just apply chain rule here, right? So chain rule is here. Right. So the derivative of sine 2x is going to be equal to cosine 2x. And then you need to take the derivative of 2x here, which is equal to 2. And then you need to take the derivative of cosine 3x. So negative sine 3x, then multiply by 3, right? Because the derivative of 3x is equal to 3. So this is equal to 2 cosine 2x plus minus 3 sine 3x. Y is equal to sine cosine 4 theta plus pi over 2. What is the derivative of this quantity? I can't speak right now. So the derivative of cosine 4 theta plus pi over 2 is going to be equal to negative sine 4 theta plus pi over 2. And then you need to take the derivative of 4 theta plus pi over 2, which is equal to 4 plus 0, right? Because pi over 2 is a constant. So this is gonna be equal to negative 4 sine 4 theta plus pi over 2. Y is equal to tangent theta plus secant theta. Secant theta. What is the derivative of this quantity? So the derivative of tangent theta is going to be equal to secant theta squared plus the derivative of secant theta. So this is going to be equal to secant theta squared plus secant theta times tangent theta. Here should be theta. Y is equal to sine 2x times cosine 3x. What is the derivative of this quantity? So you need to apply product rule, right? So take the derivative of sine 2x first. Multiply by cosine 3x, and then take the derivative of cosine 3x, and times sine 2x. So this is going to be equal to cosine 2x, and then take the derivative of 2x, which is 2, times cosine 3x, plus negative sine 3x. So the derivative of cosine 3x is going to be equal to negative sine 3x, and then you need to take the derivative of 3x multiplied by sine 2x. So this is going to be equal to 2 cosine 2x sine, is it, hold on, 2 cosine 2x times cosine 3x minus sine 3x, and then have a 3 here in the sine 2x here. Alright, so this is going to be the answer. Y is equal to sine 2 cosine 3x. What is the derivative of this quantity? So take the derivative of this quantity here first. Right, and then you can take the derivative of sine 2 cosine 2x first then. So I'm not gonna write it all because it's just too long. So the derivative of this part here is gonna be equal to cosine 2 cosine 3x. Okay. And the derivative of this part here is just gonna be equal to because 2 is a constant, so it's just gonna be equal to 2, and then the derivative of cosine 3x is gonna be negative sine 3x, and then the derivative of 3x is just gonna be equal to 3. So this is equal to cosine 2 cosine 3x, and then you have a 2, so you can move it to the front, and then a negative sine 3x, so you're gonna have a negative sign in front, times sine 3x, and then you have a 3 here, and a 3. So this is gonna be equal to negative 6 cosine 2 cosine 3x times sine 3x. Let's do another example. Y is equal to secant cube x to the 4th power. What is the derivative of this quantity? So you need to take the derivative of this part here. So this is going to be equal to 3 secant square x to the 4th power. And then you need to take the derivative of secant x to the 4th power and the derivative of x to the 4th power. So let me do this step by step. So this is going to be equal to 3 secant square x to the 4th power, and then secant times x to the 4th power is going to be equal to secant x to the 4th power, tangent x to the 4th power, and then take the derivative of x to the 4th power. So this is going to be equal to 3 times secant square x to the 4th power times secant x to the 4th power, times tangent x to the fourth power times 4 x cubed, which is equal to 12x cubed times secant square x to the fourth power times secant x to the fourth power times tangent x to the fourth power. So this is the answer. So I know here it might seem a little bit confusing. So x secant cube x to the fourth power basically means this. Right. It's just a mathematical expression. So we put 3 here instead of writing like this. Right. So for this problem, just need to apply chain rule. Y is equal to the square root of 1 minus x squared. What is the derivative of this quantity? So I don't like the square root here, so I'm gonna write it as 1 minus x squared with the power of a half. So y prime is gonna be equal to apply the chain rule, so move a half to the front, a half times 1 minus x squared, and then minus the power by 1, so it's gonna be equal to negative a half, because 1 over 2 minus 1 is equal to negative 1 over 2. I need to take the derivative of 1 minus x squared. So this is equal to a half times 1 minus x squared times 0 minus 2x. So this is equal to negative 2x here, and negative 2x times 1 over 2 is going to be equal to negative x. So negative x times 1 minus x squared with the power of negative a half. So this is equal to negative x over the square root of 1 minus x squared. Y is equal to 4x squared minus 9 times the square root of 4x squared plus 9. What is the derivative of this quantity? So you need to apply product rule. So take the derivative of 4x squared minus 9 times the square root of 4x squared plus 9 plus 4x squared minus 9 times the derivative of the square root of 4x squared plus 9. So this is going to be equal to a squared times, because the derivative of 9 is equal to 0 and ax minus 0 is still ax, so I don't write 0 out. So this is going to be equal to ax times the square root of 4x squared plus 9 plus 4x squared plus 9 times the derivative of this quantity. So this is equal to 4x squared plus 9 with the power of a half. So the derivative of this quantity is going to be equal to a half times 4x squared plus 9 with the power of negative a half. And then you need to take the derivative of 4x plus 9, 4x squared plus 9. So this is equal to ax times the square root of 4x squared plus 9 plus 4x squared plus 9 times a half times 4x squared. I just made a very crucial mistake here. So here is 4x squared minus x. Alright, so here is going to be equal to 4x squared plus 9 with the power of negative a half times the derivative of 4x squared plus 9, which is equal to ax. So this is equal to ax times the square root of 4x squared plus 9 plus 4x squared minus 9 times, so 1 over 2 times ax is going to be equal to 4x. 4x times 4x squared plus 9 with the power of negative a half. So this is equal to the square root of 4x squared plus 9. let's say y is equal to 4x squared minus 9 over x squared minus 16. What is the derivative of this quantity? So you can apply quotient rule here. So y prime is gonna be equal to the derivative of 4x squared minus 9 times x squared minus 16 minus 4x squared minus 9 times the derivative of x squared minus 16 over x squared minus 16 squared. So this is equal to the derivative of 4x squared minus 9 is equal to a squared minus 0 times x squared minus 16 minus 4x squared minus 9. So the derivative of x squared minus 16 is going to be equal to 2x over x squared minus 16 in parentheses, and then you need to square this quantity. Now you can simplify this equation a little bit. So this is going to be equal to ax cubed minus 128x minus ax cubed plus 12x. So here is plus because 9 minus 2x is equal to negative 9 minus 2, negative 9 times 2x is equal to negative 18x. But because here has a negative sign, so it's going to be positive. So this is this over x squared minus 16 squared. So this is going to be equal to, so ax squared cancels off. So this is going to be equal to 110x over x squared minus 16 squared, and you have a negative sign in front. Y is equal to 5x with the power of 7 over 2 minus 2x with the power of 3 over 2 plus 4x with the power of negative 3 over 2 minus ax with the power of negative 5 over 2. What is the derivative of y? So y prime is going to be equal to 5 times 7 over 2 times x with the power of 7 over 2 minus 1 is going to be equal to 5 over 2 minus 2 times 3 over 2 times x, you need to minus the power by 1, so is equal to a half, plus 4 times negative 3 over 2 times x with the power of negative 4 over 2 minus a times 5 over 2 times x with the power of negative 7 over 2. So this is equal to 5 times 7 is equal to 35. 35 over 2 x with the power of 5 over 2 minus 3 x with the power of 1 half. So 3 square root of x minus, so here is going to be 2. 2 times 3 is equal to 6. 6x with the square root of negative 5 over 2. Here should be negative. Here should be negative 5, 2 over 4, negative 2 over 5. So this is going to be equal to, oh sorry, here should be negative 5 over 2. So negative a times negative 5 over 2 is going to be equal to positive 20 times x with the power of negative 7 over 2. So this is the answer. Y prime is equal to this equation. Y is equal to ex times ln x. What is the derivative of y? So you need to take the derivative of ex first, and then times ln x, and then plus ex times the derivative of ln x. So the derivative of ex is equal to ex times ln x plus ex times the derivative of ln x. So the derivative of ln x is going to be equal to 1 over x. So 1 y prime is going to be equal to ex times ln x plus e with the power of x over x. Y is equal to e with the power of 2x plus ln x squared plus 1. What's the derivative of y? So derivative of e with the power of 2x is going to be e 2x. E with the power of 2x. I need to take the derivative of 2x. The derivative of ln x squared plus 1 is going to be 1 over x squared plus 1. And you need to take the derivative of x squared plus 1. So this is going to be equal to e with the power of 2x times 2x. So I'm going to write 2x in the front. Oh, sorry. The derivative of 2x is going to be equal to 2. So 2e 2x plus the derivative of x squared plus 1 is going to be equal to 2x. So plus 2x over x squared plus 1. Right. Y is equal to sine e with the power of t plus cosine e with the power of t. What is the derivative of this quantity? So the derivative of the derivative of sine something is always equal to cosine something. And then to take the derivative of e to the t power. So, and then the derivative of cosine something is always equal to negative sine something. And then to take the derivative of e with the power of t. So this is going to be equal to cosine e with the power of t times e with the power of t plus, here should be a minus sign because negative sign, times e with the power of t. Now you can take the common term et out. So this is going to be equal to e with the power of t times cosine e with the power of t minus sine e of the power of t. So this is the answer. Last problem. Y is equal to ln tangent x plus secant x. What's the derivative of this quantity? So it's going to be equal to 1 over tangent x plus secant x. And then you need to take the derivative of tangent x plus the derivative of secant x. So this is going to be equal to 1 over tangent x plus secant x times the derivative of tangent x is equal to secant square x. The derivative of secant x is equal to secant x times tangent x. Right. So now you can take the common term in this parenthesis. So it's equal to secant x times secant x plus tangent x. Now this part here cancels out. So this is just equal to secant x. So this is a pretty special example because when we learn antiderivative, you will see how this example is related to antiderivative